Tes tes.
Pedulikan warna kulitnya, bentuk rupanya, ragam rambutnya. Tak pedulikan tanah asalnya, tutur bicara, keyakinannya. Tak ada yang sama, itulah yang membuat kita kaya. Harus selalu ingat,
Cek cek satu.
aku adalah Indonesia, beraneka ragamnya, warna-warni irama. Oh indahnya
Cek satu.
adalah Indonesia, rukunlah selamanya, berdampingan bersama kita Indonesia.
Cek satu, dua, tiga, empat.
Tak
Oh, bisa.
pedulikan ada di mana, hati tertanam untuk negeri ini. Sekolah dunia riuh mendera, damai selalu bumi pertiwi. Beda tak sama, yang penting kita tetap jadi satu. Untuk selama-lamanya.
Cek. Kok bisa kok?
Adalah
Cek cek.
Indonesia, beraneka ragamnya, warna-warni irama. Oh indahnya
Satu, dua.
adalah Indonesia, rukunlah selamanya, berdampingan bersama kita Indonesia. Tak sama, yang penting kita tetap jadi satu. Untuk selama-lamanya. Oh oh oh, oh oh oh, aku adalah Indonesia, beraneka ragamnya, warna-warni irama. Oh indahnya aku adalah Indonesia, rukunlah selamanya, berdampingan bersama kita Indonesia.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, welcome to the English Speech Competition, SPH English Speech Competition 2023. My name is Pak Ziki, and I'm very happy to be the host of this amazing English speech competition. First of all, I would like to welcome each one of you, especially all the participants, today is your day. You are going to impress each one of us with your amazing speech. And I would like to encourage each one of you to please take this opportunity to impress us with everything that you have prepared. So, we're gonna start from the elementary school category, grade 4 until grade 6. And after that, followed by junior high school category. And the last one is senior high school category. So each one of you will take turn to deliver your speech. And as you can see that on the stage, we have prepared a stand, especially for those who prepare a keynotes. We encourage you to put it here, and whenever you need to look at the key points, you can come here and look at your notes. Okay? And each category has the limit time to deliver your speech. I would like to remind you one more time, especially for grade 4 until grade 6, you have 4 until 5 minutes to deliver your speech. So please use your time wisely. And one last thing, I would like to remind each one of you, we have 2 judges that will judge you based on what you are going to say and how you say it. That's all. And let's get ready to listen to the speech prepared by all the participants. We're going to start from candidate number 1. I would like to call upon Fiona Elvareta from SD Maitre Yawira Palembang. So Fiona, the stage and the time is yours.
Check.
Culture is the widening of the mind and of the spirit. This wise saying helps us understand the beauty of Indonesian culture. A wonderful mix of old traditions and new ideas. Not long ago, Indonesian culture was in the news when a group of dancers performed traditional dance in an international event, showing the whole world how beauty and unique our heritage is. Good afternoon, judges and all my young friends. My name is Fiona. I'm a student at Maitre Yawira School, Palembang. Today, I'm really excited to talk about Indonesian culture in this modern era. Especially from my perspective as a young elementary school student. One of my most cherished experience has been learning about our traditional dance like Tari Gending Sriwijaya. This dance is very special for me. I remember when the first time I saw it, I was amazed by the beautiful movements and the colorful costumes. It made me realize how important it is to keep our traditions alive and share it with others. Even the world has changed around us. Our traditional clothes like batik has also modern and cool. I love to wearing batik on my outfits. And Indonesian cuisine has also modernity in the most in the Indonesia cuisine has also modernity in the most delicious way. Like, have you ever tried pizza with rendang topping or sushi filled with nasi goreng? When I taste it, rendang with pizza topping, I was delightful surprised. It feels like journey through the familiar way. In the end, Indonesians Indonesian culture was a beautiful mix of the old and the new. Thank you for the attention. Goodbye.
To call upon Jane Amelia Effendi. The stage and time is yours.
Test. Did you know that Indonesia is the world's 14th biggest country, covering 1,904,569 square kilometers? Indonesia is also the world's 6th biggest group of islands, with 17,504 islands. This makes our culture very diverse, but sadly, today, a lot of our Indonesian culture is being forgotten or lost. So how can we, as young Indonesians, keep our culture alive and well in today's world? First of all, I would like to say thank you to Almighty God who has been giving mercy and blessing so I can join the Sekolah Palembang Harapan English speech competition. Secondly, the honorable judges, thank you very much for giving me a really special opportunity to deliver my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable judges, good day. My name is Jane Amelia Effendi from Maju Primary School. As a member of Indonesia's young generation, I'm saddened and worried about this cultural decline. Why? Because now is the time for our culture to develop more. As the young generation, we all likely have a smartphone, don't we? Nowadays, things are easier for us with smartphones, especially the internet. This modern era provides a golden opportunity for us to spread our Indonesian culture. Using the internet, friends from different islands and even different countries can learn about the diversity of authentic Indonesian culture. For example, I was once asked to perform Kuda Lumping by composer Marcel Aulia on an electro. To me, Kuda Lumping was an unfamiliar song. Luckily, with the internet, I could easily find the information I needed. Imagine if I were asked to perform For Alice or River Flows in You, the reaction would definitely be, "Oh, I know that song." Ladies and gentlemen, we should know our own culture, like songs from our country, including traditional Indonesian ones. I found Kuda Lumping amazing. It uses many traditional instruments that sound just as good as modern music. Because of globalization, Indonesia is changing. We're seeing more foreign cultures which might make our culture less visible. Globalization affects of how we think and live, and it brings new ideas and technology. Some Indonesians, especially young generation, are using more foreign languages and forgetting our own. Some people are less proud of being Indonesian and try to be like people from other countries. They focus on themselves instead of helping others, which is different from our usual way of caring for each other, working together, and having strong family bonds. But there's hope. Rich Brian, a young Indonesian rapper, is famous worldwide. He began making music in Jakarta and includes Indonesian culture in his songs. He keeps his Indonesian identity in his music. He shows us that our Indonesian heritage can be famous globally. Rich Brian's journey tells us that we, too, can celebrate and share our Indonesian culture on the world stage. We can do this by 1. Using and promoting our Indonesian language. 2. Learning and sharing our national culture. 3. Taking part in and attending cultural events. 4. Using technology to innovate and spread our culture. By doing these things, we hope that as the young generation of Indonesia, we can continue to preserve and advance Indonesian culture in this modern era. Muhammad Hatta once said, "Culture cannot be maintained alone. We must try to change and advance because culture as something that grows can be lost, it can progress." As we draw this speech to a close, remember, it always seems impossible until it's done. Be proud to be the young generation of Indonesia. I'm Jane Amelia Effendi. Thank you very much for your attention.
The next candidate, I would like to call Jane Adeline Soon. The time is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone, the honorable judges and all committees. In this precious occasion, I am Jane and I am beyond honored to stand here and deliver my speech with the title, Gen Z to Preserve Indonesian Culture in the Digitalized Era. Before I start my speech, I would like to ask some questions. Anak manis janganlah dicium, sayang kalau dicium, merahlah pipinya. Do you know what song is this? Raise your hand. Yes, you. No, the girl one. Yes, it is Salaram from Riau. Next. Where is Uncle music instrument originally from? Yes, you. Yes, it is from Indonesian West Java. Now, can you imagine a young man jump over a 2-meter stone in Nias? That must be wonderful, isn't it? All these amazing things that I've just mentioned are cultural heritage from Indonesia, the things that we can be proud of. However, if we never know or don't pay close attention to how valuable our culture is, then we might lose this. Well, the honorable audience, nowadays everybody's scrolling on social media so many hours a day. The way we speak, the way we content that we make are totally influenced from what we see on our screen. We also sometimes join the worldwide trend promoted by social media, like Halloween, or join dance challenges with foreign songs. These things is good in some ways. So, can we also do the same? Meaning that we can use this platform to promote our culture to the world. Why? Because our culture is our identity and we have to keep it. So, in this speech, I would like to talk about 3 things to preserve our culture through social media. First, if you have a talent like singing or dancing, you can create some trends in TikTok or Instagram reels, like having traditional songs medley trends with your group and post it. Don't forget to add some hashtag or tags and the challenges the other users to join the trend. Use your talent and make it viral so the world will know it. Second, if you are good at cooking, you can do a video tutorial on how to make traditional food from Indonesia. But if you don't have that skill, don't worry, you can do ASMR. We usually watch some Korean YouTubers eating their food and it is so mouth-watering. Then we want to try it. It works. We should try the same thing. Last but not least, let's say we have no particular talent. What should we do? We can do like, comment, repost. We can follow some accounts which promoted the festivity, trends, tourism spots in Indonesia. Then we can like, comment, repost it through our own social media. Once you share it, at least the people on your age, like your followers, will know about it. In the long run, the more people know, the wider scale of promotion we can reach. These steps seems easy, but really influential. Make sure that we know and love our culture so we can consistently try our best to preserve it. Let's be a part of this mission, fellas. We have come to the end of my speech. Thank you for your sincere attention. Hope you all have a good day.
The next candidate I would like to call upon Celine Sularso. The time is yours.
Do you know that we have lost some of our culture? Do you know the Rasa Sayangnya song, batik, or even our very own nasi rendang has ever been claimed by other country? Good afternoon, my beloved teachers and friends. I'm Celine, stand before you today to explore the diversity of Indonesia and its challenges in the modern era. Indonesia is a rich culture. It consists of various ethnicities, religions, and languages. Our diverse tradition has given us a rich culture. Start from the song, art, dance, and many more. How do we preserve Indonesian culture in the modern era? Preserving Indonesian culture in the modern era can be done in some various ways, such as 1. Introducing Indonesian culture to early childhood by holding performance and exhibitions, like what the school has done last 2 weeks. Indonesian culture is fantastic in my opinion. Students were required to dress traditionally for the Pekan Nusantara event. Many students enjoyed it and they were happy at that day. 2. Revisiting Indonesian culture by doing campaign, making videos and posters about it. 3. Using technology and digital platform as the showcase of our rich culture. We can share the beauty of Indonesia in our social media. We can also use the we can also play with the traditional games and tell to the kindies about it. Here's a poem to end my speech. A monkey is stealing an apple pie. It presses a button to open the gateway. I promise this is not a goodbye. I will see you again someday. Thank you everyone. Good morning.
The next one, I would like to call upon Jovelyn Sophelia Chen. The time is yours.
Hello.
Hi everyone. Did you know in Indonesia we have one of the biggest lizards in the world, the Komodo dragon? Just like this unique animal, our culture is super special and different. Indonesia is a land with many islands, and each of them has their own special way of life. But what's really the fun is how all these different parts of Indonesia are sharing their cool traditions and making our culture like a big colorful party in today's world. Hello, I'm Jalvin from Maitraura Primary School. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about how amazing Indonesian culture is, especially when they're changing and becoming even more fun. I remember watching wayang puppet show as a kid. It was magical with puppets telling old stories. But now, these stories are even cooler, with stories about superheroes and adventures. And some even have awesome lights and musics. It's just like our traditional puppet show has gotten a fun modern makeover. I also took a batik painting class once. Batik is a traditional Indonesian art of designing on cloth. On our class, we get to make batik with our favorite things, like cartoons or animals. It's amazing to mix something so traditional with our own creative ideas. And at school, when we celebrate Indonesian Independence Day, we do both traditional dances and sing modern songs. Being a part of both old and new makes me really proud. It's awesome to see how we keep our traditions alive in fun and exciting ways. Indonesian culture today is helping famous people do amazing things. Take Igede Siman Sudartawa, a professional swimmer who has won many medals. He says that the discipline and teamwork he learned from the traditional Balinese dances has helped him in sports. And there's also this chef called William Wongso, who uses old recipes from different parts of Indonesia and adding yummy twists to them. Children and grown-ups love trying these dishes. It shows that when you mix old ideas with new ones, you can make something really special. These stories are just like fairy tales, where our culture's magic can help people achieve their dreams. It's really inspiring to see how we keep our traditions alive. And adding them with new ideas can lead to big things. For kids like us, Indonesian culture today is like a big box full of fun and surprises. We get to learn about traditions and Indonesian culture in fun and exciting ways. In school, we learn about traditional dances and sing modern songs. And we also use computer to study world cultures. We learn traditions in fun and exciting ways, which can make us more creative and help us to understand others better. I think Indonesian culture is getting better. It's nice seeing us mix old celebrations with new things. Our culture is growing. In school events, we learn about traditional dances and world cultures. Learning about traditions has made me a better friend and student. Our culture helps us to be our best. In closing, let me share a wise saying, culture is the art of living together. This fits perfectly with our Indonesian culture. Like the Komodo dragon, unique and fascinating. Our culture is full of wonders and surprises. Today, being a part of this culture made me feel like we're being on an exciting journey where we discover new things every day. As kids, we get to experience the magic of blending old and new, creating something truly special. It's like having the best of both worlds, where we honor our past and we embrace the future. This journey through our culture teaches us, inspires us, and brings us together. Thank you all for listening. Let's continue to explore, enjoy, and celebrate the rich and vibrant culture of Indonesia, a land where every day is an adventure and every tradition is a treasure.
The next one, I would like to call upon Patricia Prakarsagwe. The time is yours.
Hello, judges and friends. First of all, let's thank to God who has been give some blessings until we can attend in here without any trouble and obstacles. In this occasion, I would like to present my speech in the title of Indonesia's Culture in Modern Era. First, I will explain the meaning of culture. Do you know what is culture? Culture means life method which grow up in the society area which pass throughout generations. We know Indonesia is a big nation, have many natural resources, and more than 17,000 islands, and of course have their own culture. You know what are Indonesia's culture? There's many Indonesia's culture. There's 5 examples of them that are custom home, traditional ceremonies, traditional clothes, traditional dance, and the last one is traditional musical instruments and songs. Also, there's 5 Indonesia's cultural heritage that worldwide that are angklung bamboo from West Java, puppet art from islands of Java and Bali, Saman dance from southeast of Aceh, gamelan from central Java, and that. Now we want to talk. What is the meaning of culture in modern era? So culture in modern era means a culture that emerged in the era of globalization and mostly comes from outside Indonesia. And there is many examples of modern culture. that are how to dress a different style from other country, how to eat using chopsticks, the language, use English, Japanese, Chinese, and other language. And all over that culture, we must appreciate and respect to it. I think that's all my speech about Indonesia's culture in modern era. Thank you for your nice attention.
The next one, I would like to call Chloe Mary Budiman. The time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chloe, and today I'll be presenting my speech about Indonesian culture. Indonesia is a country filled with Indonesia is a very vibrant and traditional country. It's full of brilliant and talented people, people just like us. I will further explain about Indonesia. Indonesia, the wonderful country that we live in, is very diverse and traditional. There are many different islands with different sizes and shapes. Indonesia is the fourth biggest country in the world. Indonesia consists of more than 18,000 islands. To be exact, about 18,110. The questions I want to ask you is, how do we and why do we keep traditions in Indonesia? While we advance in the new advanced era, while we advance in the new era, our era is filled with social media, trends, and gadgets. While it's important for us to use gadgets to have fun, it's also important for us to remember and appreciate the uniqueness and beauty of our country. First, let's take a time back in the old days. Indonesian ancestors lived in harmony with nature. Their wisdom is kept in our tradition. From our majestic and natural sacred monkey forest, to our simple but special national monument. Indonesian culture is filled with amazing and detailed stories, art, and traditions. Each island in Indonesia is very diverse, like in Bali. I once went to Bali and I saw these handcrafted paper squares. They are called kanang sari. They are made from woven bamboo, and inside the locals often put rice, flowers, incense, sweets, fruits, spices, and sometimes a cigarette. They put it on the ground as an offering to peace or even an offering to the gods. The locals said to not step on them or else it would be called disrespectful. How do we maintain tradition and advance with technology? I know that we love technology, especially social media. We love scrolling on it and busying our time with it. But how do we make use of it to our country? Well, as an example, we could use it to connect with friends and tell them about all our country to people all over the world. We could also use it as an invite to foreigners to invite people to our country, Indonesia. But we have to be careful, or else we might lose sight of our cultural values in Indonesia. Technology is also used to share our culture. We could show pictures of traditions, dances, performances, or food. We could show our local food brands or any dance that we have. We could also display our beautiful and rich culture. Indonesian cuisine is like a bomb of flavors in our mouth. It mixes well together. Thank you for listening to my speech.
The next one, I would like to call upon Stefan Franklin Tucker. The time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stefan, and I'm here to talk about a place called home. In this place, I can greet anyone with a smile and receive a smile back. In this place, I can climb starfruit trees to get the juicy fruits nesting amongst the branches. In this place, I can ride my bike on bumpy dirt roads and see the macaws and parakeets soar up above. Where is this place I'm talking about? Indonesia. There are many colors I see every day in Indonesia. From the green of the plants to the bright-colored batik to the red and blue birds in the sky. The diversity in Indonesia is just like the diverse colors I see every day. Now, the question I want to ask you all is, how do we, people of Indonesia, keep our traditions and the rich history embedded with this wonderful country and still keep in touch with the modern era? A long time ago, Indonesia reflected this place where cultures respected each other. From majestic temples such as the Borobudur temple to amazing dances, These cultures are the place for stories, art, and values. These days, because of all the technology and exciting gadgets, it makes us easy to forget all of our traditions. However, it's the history that makes us remember things so we don't forget who we are. Now, let's talk about the impact of technology. I know a lot of us love to spend time on our phones and tablets. The rise of the internet has made it able for anyone to explore and reach out all across the earth. It has made opportunities for people to exchange ideas and traditions so they can be embraced. One way we can do so is by sharing a photo of a traditional dance or a traditional meal that we just tried. Now, speaking of food, Indonesian cuisine is a treat to those who crave it. From the spicy rendang to the admirable nasi goreng, our dishes are a magnificent combination of flavors. These days, it's very easy to crave junk food or some unhealthy dish. But we should remember the times where we had some warm bakso or tasty mie goreng to satisfy our hunger. Food is not just about filling our stomachs, but a special moment where we can remember our rich history or a chance to be with our family and friends. Finally, as we grow through this modern era, we should remember that real treasure is not our phones or gadgets, but the rich history and culture that brings us all together. Whether we see dances or savor cuisine, keep our cultures alive. Indonesian culture is something that should be shared as it continues to enlarge towards the future. Being modern doesn't mean forgetting who we are. It just provides a way that we can all share this place I call home, Indonesia, to the world. Thank you for listening.
The next candidate is Diego Kurniawan Wijaya. Diego, the time is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Diego, and today I want to tell you about a place where I live. A place where I call home, Indonesia. Wonderful Indonesia is a place as diverse as the islands are numerous. The question I want to ask you is, how do we, who call Indonesia our home, maintain the rich history and vibrant traditions and still advance in the modern era? In this 21st century of ours, I would call this golden age time of ours the modern time. As this time is filled with gadgets, social media, and others. Now, most of you guys probably can't get your eyes over it, and get addicted to it. Now, how do we can keep this culture of Indonesia with us? Let's try to use this dusty time machine of ours and travel back in time to your memories. You guys have probably been out of Palembang and visited other cities. Perhaps you have probably been to Bali. Bali is very different from our city, Palembang. The tall buildings are replaced with Rumah Gapura Sandi Bentar, and Bali is filled with cultural places like Karangasem or Temple in the Clouds, or even the Garuda Wisnu Kencana. How can we maintain the examples of diversity and uniqueness, like the differences between Palembang and Bali, yet still keep up with the world? Now, all of you guys has probably been caught up with the latest trends and probably been trying to do trends to maybe get like followers or likes. Indonesia is unique and special and has a diversity of culture. Now, how can we, citizens of Indonesia, maintain the rich history of Indonesia? As Indonesia is culturally diverse, as there are so many cultures in Indonesia. As I want to talk about, there are so many cultures like the houses in Indonesia, the traditional dances, weapons, and my favorite, the food. Indonesia has some unique tastes. As we can see, there is rendang, nasi goreng, and pempek. Nasi goreng has been my favorite food since I ever once tasted it. Now all of you guys has probably ate fast foods and can't and barely eat Indonesia traditional foods. I want to encourage you to eat more Indonesia traditional foods. Now, let's continue to be proud of our culture and be proud ambassadors of Indonesia. Thank you for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the first category. And before moving on to the next category, we are going to have 5 minutes break time. You can use the time to drink or go to the toilet. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to move to the next category, which is grade 7 until grade 9. And before we start, I would like to remind you one more time, grade 7 until grade 9, you have 6 until 7 minutes to deliver your wonderful speech. So, are you guys ready? Yes? All right, we are going to start from the first candidate. I would like to call upon Juan Carlos Sinaga. Juan, the time is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody, all audience, all teacher, and all judges. Today, my name is Juan from Cyprus One Junior High School. Today, I will give my opinion about Indonesian culture in the modern era. First of all, I be grateful to God because of His bless and grace. I can start this speech in this great situation. First, you will be asking, what is culture? Culture is a way of human life that is passed down from generation to generation, or usually called customs. You must be also asking too, what is Indonesian culture? It's various, right? Yes, it is. Indonesia has more than 50,000 islands, and in each island has one tribe or even more. I have one favorite tribe. It was Batak tribe from North Sumatra. I love the culture, like Tari Tortor. Back to the main of the speech. People in now has preferred to playing technology rather than studying our culture. How we fix it so people has preferred to studying our culture. The reason why the people prefer to playing technology because the lack of interest and awareness of each individual. Back to the main, how we fix it. We can preserve our culture. How we preserving our culture? First, you can make some art performance. We make art performance so people come to our art performance. We show a traditional dance, traditional music instruments, traditional songs, and a fashion show of traditional clothes. Second, we can promote to our culture to any people in Indonesia or abroad people. So they will come to our art performance and they will watch it and they'll be interesting, and so they all will be studying our culture. We can learn some Pelima too. Sorry, I can say that in English, but the main is project to strengthen our Profil Pancasila students. As I know, Pelima has many components, but I choose creativity. Creativity in Pelima means was we build something new. We modify something old to become more useful and impactful to ourselves or everyone. You know, teenagers are not creative, or that's us that I used to be. You know that all humans are so creative. They can make pyramids, Colosseum, and even a big temples. For example, like Prambanan Temple. Prambanan Temple build time is just in one night and one day. Wow, sensational. In every wall of the temples has many carvings. Second, I can say to Candi Borobudur. Candi Borobudur is a temple for religious prayers, religious. In every wall too, there have many carvings. So I draw the conclusion that I don't really like Indonesian culture in the modern era. But if we fix it together, we preserving it together, I will be happy because our culture is keep standing, keep alive, and keep strong. That all can I say today. Thank you for your all attention, judges, audience.
The next one, I would like to call Sofa Indira Kahirunisa. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Judges. It is an honor for me to stand up here today to be one of my school representatives to share my speech about Indonesian culture in modern era. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sofa Indira Hairunisa from Sekolah Palembang Harapan Junior High School. Today, we'll share my opinion about Indonesian culture. We all know that Indonesia is well known for their unique and beauty culture. Lots of cultural differences happen in Indonesia. For example, differences in religion, differences in food, differences in culture, even differences in language. Let's take an example. Differences in food. Even, I ever heard that USA President Barack Obama loved to eat nasi goreng, which is Indonesian traditional food. We also have rendang, which is so popular abroad. We have tempoyak durian from Kalimantan. Also, we have nasi padang from Sumatera Barat. But as time goes by, the culture of Indonesia itself that becomes the characteristic of Indonesia is not as strong as it used to be. Why can I say that? It's because myself experiences the development of other country in Indonesia. Okay, let's take an example from South Korea. Who didn't know their culture? We know almost their culture, their K-pop music, their dancing, even their language. I have at least more than 10 friends which obsess with Korean culture. Some of them even learn how to speak Korean even though their own Indonesian language exam score isn't really good. Very sad. Seeing this happen, me as nation next generation wondered, what made this happen? Is this because of Indonesian culture is not valuable anymore in Indonesia or abroad? The answer is no. Indonesian culture is more valuable than other culture because we have more than 1,239 culture which we can preserve. But how to preserve it? I know how to preserve it. With wearing batik every once a month or eating our own traditional food and share to other country that our culture is no less interesting than other country culture. I believe with this kind of effort, our country heritage will not fade quickly. Because of Indonesia is a rich country, but its wealth and wealthiness will disappear if it's not inherited. I believe each one of us can preserve our culture so we can make Indonesia more popular than other country. Lastly, for me, ayo kita merajut kebinekaan untuk Indonesia maju, so Indonesia can be more maju. Terima kasih karena sudah mendengarkan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The next one, Jonathan Alaire Chen. The time is yours.
Jawaharlal Nehru said, "Culture expands our minds and spirits." Our country, Indonesia, is special because it blends old traditions with new ideas. With over 300 groups of people, we're not just keeping our traditions, we're making them more exciting and modern. Indonesia shows us how our rich past can mix with new ideas to create something amazing. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Jonathan from Maitreya School. It's my pleasure to share with you today my insights and personal experiences regarding the evolving and vibrant Indonesian culture in our contemporary era. Growing up in Indonesia, I have been privileged to witness a culture rich in diversity and traditions. One of my most profound experiences was during the celebration of Eid al-Fitr. The whole community, irrespective of their backgrounds, came together in a spirit of unity and joy. This festival, for me, was more than a religious celebration. It was a cultural spectacle showcasing our unity in diversity. My involvement in the Bali Arts Festival was another eye-opener. Here, I saw a mesmerizing blend of traditional Balinese culture with modern art forms. The festival was not just about preserving our cultural heritage. It was a display of how our traditions have evolved, absorbing contemporary elements while retaining its essence. This blend of the old and new is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of Indonesian culture. These experiences have been instrumental in shaping my understanding of our culture. They have shown me that as we move forward into modernity, we are not leaving our roots behind. Instead, we are carrying them with us, allowing them to grow and adapt in new environments. Our culture is like a tree that spread its branches wide, reaching for the sun, yet remains firmly rooted in the rich soil of its origins. Indonesian culture in the modern era has played a pivotal role in shaping many successful individuals. Consider the likes of Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Indonesia's finance minister and a former managing director at the World Bank. Her career trajectory reflects the Indonesian values of diligence, resilience, and adaptability. Another example is Nadia Makarim, the founder of Gojek and now the Minister of Education and Culture. His journey from entrepreneur to government minister underscores how our cultural values of innovation and community service are creating leaders who are making significant impacts both locally and globally. These stories of success are not mere coincidences. They are the fruits of a culture that encourages perseverance, respect for diversity, and an eagerness to embrace change. Our culture has been the bedrock upon which these individuals have built their achievement, showcasing the power and potential of Indonesian values. For teenagers like myself, modern Indonesian culture combines traditional values with modern trends. This helps us be adaptable, open-minded, and creative. We learn to cherish our traditions and also stay open to new ideas and global views. In school, this cultural blend is clear. We learn about traditional arts and history and also learn to use modern technology and think globally. This broad education helps us become global citizens with strong cultural roots. From my perspective, Indonesian culture is thriving and adapting well in the modern era. From my perspective, Indonesian culture is thriving and adapting well in the modern era, blending our rich traditions with new advancements. As a student and community member, I've seen how our culture is growing stronger, not fading in today's world. We, the youth, are learning to value our heritage in fresh ways, making them more relevant and relatable to us. This change shows the strength and flexibility of our culture amid rapid global changes. People from other countries are often intrigued by how Indonesia maintains a diverse cultural identity while embracing modernity. This global interest reflects admiration. And curiosity about our unique cultural blend. I've met people who are amazed by our traditional arts, like wayang and gamelan, and how these art forms have incorporated contemporary elements. This global interest is not only filling me with pride, but also motivates me to be an ambassador of our culture, showcasing its richness and diversity. This international recognition is not just a testament to the beauty of our culture, but also an opportunity for cultural change, allowing us to share our heritage while embracing new ideas from around the world. In closing, Indonesian culture in the modern era is a remarkable blend of tradition and innovation. It is a culture that respects its roots while embracing the future. As the famous Indonesian writer Pramudia Anantatur said, "Culture does not make people, people make culture." We are the bearers of this culture, and it is our responsibility to nurture and pass it on to future generations. Our culture is not just a relic of the past. It is a living, breathing entity that is continually evolving. As Indonesians, we should take pride in our cultural heritage and strive to keep it alive in our hearts and actions. Thank you.
The next candidate is Keisha Fairley Kurniadi. The stage is yours.
and gentlemen of all ages, and honored guests, of course. As you know, my name is Keisha Fair-Kaniadi. I am from RSI, and I'll be talking about the culture, the modern culture of Indonesia. So, Indonesia, the country that we live in, has over 270 million population. And as you know, Indonesia is known for its ethnicities, languages, and traditions. So let's move on. One of the main pillars of Indonesia is the cuisine. As you know, Indonesia is well known for their food in taste and flavor. And Indonesia is quite loved by their food because, as you know, we are Indonesians, we taste our own food, and you know that it's very delicious. Indonesia also has spread global-wide as the food that we are very well known for. Like, for example, nasi padang, bakso, sambal, and so much more that we can't really count all of them in one census. One of the next ones that we'll talk about is arts and entertainment. Indonesia is widely known also for their film industry. And also for one of the fashion sense that we have is as batik. Batik is a traditional outfit that we are known. As you can see, people are wearing it right now. Batik is an ancient craft that we have made for over centuries, probably. And as today, it is known for a national identity that we wear today. And as you know, Indonesians wear batik for school, special occasions, and many more. It is a sense for our national identity and for know that we are proud to wear our traditional clothes. For the last one is fashion. As you know, fashion, we just talked about batik. Batik, as you know, is the clothes that we wear for national identity. And more traditional clothes like we wear for traditional dances, as you can search it up yourselves. It has a very various designs that are very well known. Traditional clothes are well known and used for various circumstances. Traditional dances, special occasions. Maybe you wear batik just because to let others know that you're Indonesian and to know that your identity is with Indonesia. So in my conclusion, Indonesia isn't just a country that's growing. It's also a country where its community is growing over the past few centuries. Indonesia is a country that we are very proud of, a country that we grew up in, a country that has survived for centuries that will have to come by in the future. In the past, you have known that our country got invaded by many, many countries like Portuguese and other European countries. Our country was enslaved for many years in the past. And after our first president, Sukarno, declared independence in our country, we have known to be independent and survive on our own. Indonesia has been a country that has a very interesting history, a history that we can learn from, a history that we can be focused on, and we can learn something from it. As we are now today, standing in this place and knowing the history from our previous past of our country, Indonesia, as centuries go by, we don't know what will be held in the future, but we know that we, as Indonesia, will have to stay strong and be one of a community, like how it was in the past, so our country couldn't be state invaded by too long. I've already discussed this, but as I said, Indonesia has been invaded for far too long. But after independence, we have grown to live free and to grow as a society. Thank you for for listening to my speech. And as centuries go, and as centuries fly like the wind, we hope that our future generations will still hold into the roots of Indonesia and let the future know that we as Indonesians are proud to have this identity within us. Thank you.
The next one, I would like to call upon Cindy Valencia. Time is yours.
Good afternoon, distinguished judges, dear parents, esteemed teachers, and fellow friends. My name is Cindy Valencia, and I'd like to share how globalization affected Indonesian culture in this modern era. Nowadays, try to ask some of your friends, hey, do you know Tanggai dance? 9 out of 10 of my friends will answer, what is that? But then I ask, do you know super shy dance? And they will start dancing. The factor of this incident is globalization. Globalization has given Indonesians, musicians, and artists a chance to show their talents to people all over the world. Through the internet and social media, they can share their work and get recognition internationally. This has also led to a mix of Indonesian culture with ideas from the other country, making a unique and exciting cultural scene. However, globalization has also brought challenges to preserving Indonesian culture. Sometimes foreign influencers can be so strong that they overshadow local traditions. Especially in cities, young people might prefer global trends over their own cultural heritage. To overcome these challenges, we need to find a balance between embracing globalization and preserving Indonesian culture. Education is important in this process. By teaching young Indonesians about their own cultural roots and helping them appreciate their heritage, we can ensure that it continues to be valued. And that's what brings me to my next point. I will now discuss the government decision to release an independent curriculum to preserve Indonesian culture. 5P is the name of a project in this independent curriculum. 5P encompasses the following principles: devotion to God, critical thinking, independence, creativity, global diversity, and gotong royong, or we can say teamwork or work hand in hand, making sure that these generations remember our culture is the ultimate goal. For example, independence. How P5 create an independent young generations in Indonesia? By creating projects that are specifically carried out responsibly and independently to preserve Indonesian culture. EcoBricks is the name of the project to ensure that young generations in Indonesia can be independent. An eco brick is a building block that made entirely from unrecyclable plastic. With the eco brick project, young generations in Indonesia can learn to be responsible and participate in recycling waste. Indonesian culture in this modern era is slowly starting to be forgotten. Therefore, I, Cindy Valencia, I'd like to invite all Indonesian youth, or what they call Gen Z kids, to instill an attitude of love for the country, balancing our love for foreign culture and Indonesian culture, so that we can survive in this modern era. The role of culture is the form through which we as a society reflect who we are, where we have been, and where we hope to be. Again, it's my pleasure to have this change, and I'll end this change by saying thank you for your attention, and I hope we all can still learn Indonesian culture in this modern era. Have a good day.
The next one, I would like to call upon Wilson Afrando Luis. Take your time.
Good afternoon, everybody. Honorable mention to the judges, my friends, my beloved teachers, my friends from other schools, and our teacher from other schools. I'm Wilson Avanda Luis from Safios 1 Junior High School. Today, I want to share my ideas about Indonesian culture. But first, let's all thank to God who has been giving us mercies and blessings so we can gather up here with a well and healthy conditions. In this occasion, I want to talk about Indonesian culture in the modern era. But first, I want to talk an activity at my school. The activity is called P5, or in English, Project to Strengthen the Profile of Pancasila Students. This activity aims to make students superior and productive successor of the nations and build cooperation between students. One of the profile of Pancasila students are gotong royong, or walk hand in hand. Some of my friends, but not most of them, doesn't even care to do the thing that we call picket. They don't care about cleaning our class and prefer to go outside and play online games with their friends. That's why I really want to build cooperation between them by inviting them to work together during P5 activities. I think that all that I'm going to say about P5. Now I'm going to say about culture. First, I will talk about the meaning of culture. Culture means a way of life formed by a group and has been passed down generations by generations. The example of cultures are traditional dances, traditional musical instruments, languages, cuisine, and social interaction, and etc. But with the development of time, people are starting to become lazy about preserving culture. Second, I will talk about culture that still exists and being preserved in Indonesia at modern era. The culture are wayang kulit, angklung, batik, keris, reok Ponorogo, and etc. The culture that I want to talk about is reok Ponorogo. Well, Ponorogo is a traditional dance from East Java and well, Ponorogo is a very interesting dance. That's why people love it and want to preserve it. Well, Ponorogo is danced by 6 dancers, namely 1 pembawa dancers who wears dadak merah, 2 bujang ganong dancers who wears red and white mask, 2 female jatilan dancers, and 1 chatan dancers. The big mass on Well Ponorogo is called Singa Barong and weighs 30 to 40 kilograms. Third, I will talk about culture that's almost gone in Indonesia at modern era. The culture are Sisingan, Noken, Lampak Gendang, Talawangsa, Kenigayo, and et Central. The culture that I want to talk about is Lampak Gendang. Lampak Gendang is a traditional art from West Java. Lampak Gendang can also be said as a traditional dance that involves playing drums simultaneously. It's very interesting, right? But, like I said, this culture is almost gone because of people that are starting to become lazy about preserving this culture. So, the conclusion from my speech above is that Indonesia is a big nation and have many provinces that also have their own cultures. Some are still loved and preserved, like Ponorogo, but some are almost gone, like Lampak Gendang. Therefore, let's work together to preserve our culture and introduce it to other nations. Well, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's enough for me to present my speech that is about Pelima, gotong royong or work hand in hand, and Indonesian culture. Thank you.
The next one, I would like to call Fidelia Ariani Hutapea. The time is yours.
Good afternoon, honorable judges, my beloved teacher, all teachers from another school, my friends, and everyone here today. I'm Fidelia Arentapea from Sabaris 1 Junior High School. First of all, let's praise our Almighty God. Because of His blessing, we all can attend this contest. In this speech, I would like to talk about Indonesian culture in this modern era. Before we get into the main topic, do you know what culture means? Yes, culture is the way of life that grows in a group of people. It includes ritual traditions, traditional custom, traditional food, traditional dance, arts, belief, and way of behaving. As the people of Indonesia, we should be proud because we have so many different cultures. There are so many different cultures in each province of Indonesia. And in this speech, I will talk more specifically about globally diversity acceptance, or in Indonesia, we can say it berkebinekaan global. Maybe you're asking what is the connection between the global diversity acceptance and our culture. Global diversity acceptance is one of our four characteristics that taught in Pelima. Friends, do you know P5? I think many students here knows it, right? If you know it, you can raise your hand. Okay, P5 is a subject that talks about how to behave and think like Indonesian forefathers. P5 has 6 elements that describe our forefathers' characteristics, which are have a noble character, global diversity acceptance, work hand in hand, or we can call it gotong royong, critical thinking, creativity, and independent. As I said earlier, I will talk more specifically about global diversity acceptance. Okay, global diversity acceptance is a matter of respecting each other that's different from we, maybe like religion, ethnicity, and then culture, skin colors, languages, and many more. But sadly, now young generation of Indonesian, even the majority of Indonesian people, don't care about Indonesian culture yet, such as like respecting each other. Let me give you some example. I've ever seen people that bullying someone because she's different from ethnicity between the people, between them. Another example is, in social media. I know we all have social media, like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and many more. And sometimes, if we open the comment, many people that being racist to each other. That sounds sad, but this is a fact. Many people that being racist. And it's not the same like our forefather. Did you ever think that if our forefather didn't come together and oppose the colonizer, maybe we didn't go to school, maybe we don't stand here, maybe we don't go to work, because maybe we are running, screaming, because there are so many nuclear that hitting our homeland, Indonesia. So, how to save it? How we can save our culture? That's simple. For students, we just start to following P5. And for everyone, we all can start by respecting each other. Sounds simple, right? So, we don't want our culture to be gone, right? Just follow the method. Well, that's all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all my point of view about Indonesian culture in this modern era. I hope we all can save our culture by respecting each other. I'm Fidelia Arentapea from Cyprus 1 Junior High School. Thank you for all your attention.
The next participant, I would like to call Kaylin Grace. The stage is yours.
Indonesia is a country with thousands of diversities, with around 1,300 tribes, more than 2,000 local languages, and 6 religions. Have every one of you known about this fact, and are you proud of being Indonesian? I am Kaylin Grace, and I'm standing here today as a proud Indonesian. In the next 6 minutes, I'm going to talk about how our country's culture, Indonesia, is still relevant and why we must always be proud of it and bring it to our daily life. But before that, I would love to thank all the judges and all the participants here to hear my speech today, and I was very thankful for this opportunity to stand here and deliver this important topic. Did you know batik? Batik is one of the most popular Indonesian culture that we could find everywhere and anywhere. Every day, most in our life, we can find peoples that use batik maybe for going to school or work. And it's one way to preserve Indonesian traditional culture through fashion collection. I believe that Indonesia has so many variations of culture, and one of it is textile. Indonesia has songket to batik, embroidery to ikat, and all of it has its own uniqueness. And but it was very sad that not every people were proud of this. Not everyone loved to use this kind of batik or traditional clothes because they might think that this kind of fashion is too old, and sometimes it's not just the same with all the fashion trends in nowadays. But I believe that there are so many talented people in Indonesia that could modify the traditional clothes to adapt with nowadays fashion trend. And we could also support them by using their product, and yeah, we have to be proud of it. And if we know our culture is very precious, because even there is so many countries that try to claim it. So we have to be proud of it, and we have to maintain the culture. Besides all the fashion culture, we also have varieties of food and traditional food, and it's acknowledged by the entire world. Are you ever eating rendang? I'm sure most of you have tried rendang, right? It's so delicious. And did you know that based on so many sources and based on so many research, rendang is the most delicious food in this world? And not only the culinary, Indonesia also has so many traditional dances that we have to appreciate more. And in this globalization era, I believe that it's hard for us to also love our own culture without other culture. But believe it or not, the most important things for us is we have to love our own culture, because I'll take one example. South Korea, they are used to be a developing country, but because of their people promote their culture and show it to the entire world, they become more developed and become a developed country. But if other country could do that, why can't we do so? we could try to combine our culture with other culture to create and draw attention to the world. But if it sounds more or too complicated, we can try a simple thing by promoting the culture through social media or other medias. And I believe that Indonesia has so many potential to be well known in this entire world. So I also know that technology plays a big role in our life, so we can try to share it through social media. And as long as I growing up in this country, I was taught on so many lessons, such as our country's motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, that means unity in diversity. And I believe that Indonesian culture is our self-identity. So let us unite as one nation to have a better future and a better country. That's all from me, and thank you, everyone.
All right. One important thing that we need to pay attention to, okay, while the participant is delivering the speech, let's keep the auditorium quiet or avoid talking. So let's respect to the person who is delivering the speech. Thank you. The next candidate, I would like to call Janice Lovely. The stage is yours.
Check. Today, I would like to start with an astonishing fact. Recent research indicates that Indonesia is not only rich in biodiversity, but also in cultural diversity. This archipelago is home to more than 300 ethnic groups and speaks over 700 languages, making it one of the most culturally diverse countries in the world. Honorable judges, esteemed guests, and my fellow students, a very good afternoon to all. I am Janice Lovely from Maitreya Junior High School, Palembang. Today, I'm thrilled to share my insights on how our vibrant Indonesian culture continues to flourish and adapt in the modern era. Indonesian culture, like a river, has flowed through times, evolving yet retaining its essence. As a teenager, I've learned that embracing our roots while adapting to change is crucial. For example, traditional games, which I played as a child, like Jongklak or Gasing, were simple, yet rich in social interaction. Today, while many kids play online games, I see these traditional games as a bridge to our past, offering lessons of strategy, patience, and community. My personal experience with Indonesian folktales has been inspiring. Well, I've been an avid reader since childhood, especially of Indonesian folk stories. Each tale from different regions offers a glimpse into our diverse culture. I recall visiting Pulau Kamaro in South Sumatra, enchanted by the legend of Tan Bun An and Siti Fatimah. My visit to Candi Prambanan was thrilling, knowing the legend of Roro Jonggrang. These stories make places come alive, turning a trip into an adventure. I also often participate in storytelling competitions, sharing these tales like Batu Menangis, and even dress in traditional attire like the beautiful outfits from West Kalimantan. These experiences have deepened my appreciation for our rich heritage. Our Indonesian culture in the modern era is also exemplified by successful Indonesians like Dian Sastrowardoyo and Maudy Ayunda. Dian, an acclaimed actress and producer, is active in social and educational initiatives. Maudy, a talented singer and actress, champions education and women's empowerment. Their stories inspire us to blend our cultural identity with modern aspirations, showing that our heritage can coexist with contemporary successes. Indonesia's linguistic diversity is another cultural treasure. I've been learning Javanese, and a phrase I love is Mugo-mugo sampean due dino sing ape, meaning, hope you have a great day. This simple phrase represents the warmth and friendliness inherent in our culture, even in this modern era. Discussing Indonesia's ethnic and cultural diversity, I'm reminded of how we stand united amidst diversity. My own experiences as a teenager in this multicultural nation have taught me the importance of understanding, respect, and unity. Our diversity is not just a fact, but a strength, something to celebrate and learn from, especially in today's globalized world. In conclusion, as a young Indonesian, I find that our culture in the modern era is a vibrant mix of tradition and innovation, unity in diversity, and a continuous journey of learning and adapting. A unique fact about Indonesia that always amazes me is that we have over 17,000 islands, each with its own story and tradition, yet united under one flag. This is a testament to our incredible cultural journey. Remember, as the Indonesian proverb goes, bersatu kita teguh, bercerai kita runtuh. United we stand, divided we fall. Let's carry this spirit forward, blending the richness of our past and the promises of our future. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
The next one, I would like to call upon Terisia Leonica Samuara. The stage is yours.
A country that is rich in cultural diversity is fading due to the existence of a foreign culture, and that country is Indonesia. Good afternoon, judges, teachers, my friends, and audiences. First, let me introduce my name. My name is Trisel Nika Samara. I am in grade 8 and I attend this school, Sekolah Palembang Harapan. So, me personally, I am very proud to be an Indonesian. I live in Indonesia and I was born in Indonesia. Indonesia has so many cultural diversities, starting from Sabang to Merauke. And I think that is a feeling that all Indonesians should have. But the question is, why is Indonesia's culture starting to decrease? Well, based on my opinion, I think that the main factor to it is globalization. What is globalization? Globalization is the international influence that integrates with people, organizations, companies, governments, and many more. Don't get me wrong, I think that globalization has so many positive impacts, like it could increase our economical growth, our knowledge, or even our relation. But we can't just close our eyes and think that isn't one of many factors that has decreased Indonesia's culture. I think Indonesia has been influenced mostly by Western and Korean cultures. Even my mom is influenced by Korean cultures, and maybe the audience is here too. Nowadays, people wanted to be a K-pop idol, a K-actor, or even like Ariana Grande. But why can't we just be ourselves? Why can't we be an Indonesian? Even my friends, my classmates, they study hard so they could just go, live, and move to another country that is not Indonesia. What is wrong with Indonesia? Why is it wrong if we live in Indonesia? What is wrong with Indonesia? Well, that tells us how that people in Indonesia has the lack of knowledge about how beautiful and powerful Indonesia is, especially in their culture. We need to embrace ourselves and we need to be proud to be an Indonesian. We need to tell societies that we need to accept and love to be an Indonesian. And about earlier I said about globalization. I think that globalization we can't avoid globalization. Whatever we do, globalization will still be there. So what I think is that we need to balance globalization and maintaining our culture. And how could we maintain our culture? One easy thing we could do is, just like in my school, we need to wear batik every Friday at the end of the month, like today, but I have changed to my uniforms. I think that is one tiny thing that we could do that could expand our culture. Like, we could introduce or normalize batik to new generations, to generations, so they could even expand our culture, and in that is batik. And I also think that Indonesia's culture has been my identity. And I want to remind you that culture is not just about the things that we could see, like the traditional dances, or the things that we could hear, like traditional songs, or the things that we could touch, like the artifacts. But it's also the value of it. What I meant is, for example, as if I remember correctly, the 10th graders in my school, they have this short movie about Maling Kundang. Maling Kundang is like an old tale made by Indonesians then. In story short, it's about a son who disrespects or disobeys his mother. And one day, his mother cursed him to be a stone, and he did really become a stone. Many people might think that's just a ridiculous myth or something, but for me, it's the value of it. It could teach us to respect or to obey our mother or our parent. And I think that there's still many more cultures, so we can still find so many more values. Indonesia has so many cultures, so let us dig and explore to our cultures. I am very sorry if I have any misleading information, grammatical errors or pronunciation, or even difference in perspective. But I hope from my speech today, I could motivate you or at least give you a new perspective about how beautiful Indonesia is, especially in culture-wise. Thank you, judges, friends, and audiences for listening, and may God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our second category. Before moving to the next category, we are going to have 5 minutes break time. All right, good people, we are going to continue with the last category, which is grade 10 until 12. So we're gonna start from the first candidate, but before that, I wanna apologize if later I mispronounce your name. Okay, so we're gonna start from the first candidate. I call upon Dan Ha Park. The time is yours.
Hello. Okay. Can I spend a little bit time here? I just want to copy. Thank you. Okay. As a Korean, being a witness to this cultural development of Indonesia has been a lesson and chance for me. Hence today, I stand against you. I stand before you as a not as a tourist or visitor, but as a participant of this Indonesian society, one of 50 million students of Indonesia. Compared to the most of people here, my experience in Indonesia would not be that various or colorful. However, throughout this short time of 8 years, I have experienced sufficient amount of changes of Indonesia. And this emphasizes how quick the changes in Indonesia is. First, I witnessed the change in Indonesia from my surrounding. People around me, they used to like Indomie so much, and their eyes roll like crazy person whenever they saw that white, blue-green packaging of that noodle. However, nowadays, people are not so much interested about our own culture. As times pass, people are gaining attention to the wrong thing, and wrong things are being focused. So, apart from Indomie, the impact of globalization is reaching on the streets and malls. If you drive on the streets, on the left side you'll see mixue, and on the other side you'll see cha time. But where are those fascinating Indonesian restaurants that used to be on that spot? Where did they go? The answer is simple. They're just disappearing because they cannot compete with those big foreign industries. Indonesia, the fourth populous country around the world, is now being the biggest targets of the world. And therefore, people are targeting Indonesian industries and markets to be their top one sources for their money. And they browse so many strategies, such as halal certification, to take over the most parts of the Indonesian market, and the effects of it were significant. I believe that food is not just a source of nutrition. However, it contributes to people's emotions and their behaviors. Therefore, food is not just a simple thing, but it is our culture, our ethnicity, and our lifestyle. Significantly, Indonesian culture is a celebration of diversity of this nation. All around from the 17,000 islands, people gathered and formed this culture of Indonesia. There was a recent research done by CNN to sort out the best dishes from the world, and Indonesian rendang never failed to be in top 3. Moreover, Indonesian tempe is gaining attention from the worldwide view because they are vegan friendly and rich in protein. So therefore, I truly think that Indonesian culture has a potential to expand their stage on worldwidely and to impact others' culture. My friends, today I'm not here to speak of such quotes like, let's boycott Western industries and kick them out of Indonesian land. No, those people who are not paying attention to their own culture, I'm referring to myself and those people around me. Nowadays, as you know, this young generation do not pay attention to our own culture. However, we stick most of our time with our phone, and we use our internet as a source to find our attention to the other culture, but not ours. On the surface level, clearly, yes, having Western industries in our own country is not a bad sign. It clearly shows that the Western world and the global world is paying attention to Indonesia's potential. However, people do not let that potential and attention to be a double-edged sword to Indonesia. This shift in dietary choices in Indonesia does not simply tell us about that we should rely over these Western countries and be winner of this globalization. No, however, it is an acknowledgement for our diminishing interest on our own cultural heritage. As we eagerly embrace international flavor, we should not lose sight of our own cultural heritage and treasures. Being modern and not getting left behind is one of the most primary achievements that a country should achieve. However, people do not be blind to seek this modernization, modern things, simply by imitating others and recreating what other people already have built before. We already have our own culture. We can simply use it. Being modernized is not just simply imitating other countries, but it is our charisma to elicit our old culture to the modern era and to use it as much as we can. And I believe, therefore, our situation is just like the story of Icarus, who used wings made out of feathers and wax to fly towards the sun. And as you know, his story ends with his own death since he fell from the sky because his wings melted by the radiation of the sun. People, do not imitate the bird to chase the sun, but we have to be the bird to chase the sun endlessly. It is the problem and issues of every culture, Indonesian cultural issues, is simple thing because we can fix it simply by having attention to it. Everything that we can achieve, that we want to achieve, can just simply start it by paying attention. Few decades ago in Korea, my parents' generation, they were concerned because our country's culture was getting absorbed by worldwide globalization. But now you can see that Korea is doing steadily, and Korea is doing steadily, and we approve that we can success our successful cultures to the worldwide view era. And now, therefore, I ask you, we have to teach ourselves how to love Indonesian culture properly. We have to teach ourselves how to love Indomie again. We have to teach ourselves how to spread the greenness of our culture to the modern era while not being impacted by others, but to impact others. Therefore, for the last, I ask you, what kind of bird should Indonesia be to soar through the blue sky of this modern era without falling apart? Thank you.
The next one I would like to call Devina Putri Sonia. The stage is yours.
nation or our only the nation on children can be only the nation our children can be delivered or can be related onto development Indonesia. It is impossible for us to expect from the other nations. These are quotes recorded by B.J. Habibie, one of the best Indonesian presidents, who believes that a good person is important in this world. I am Devina Trisania from Harapan Islamic Senior High School, Palembang. Gratefulness to all of you. Thank you very much for opportunity. And this time, I want to tell you about my speech, the gratefulness of the rejection of Indonesian culture in this globalization era. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you know about culture? So, we believe that culture is the identity national of a nation. A nation national identity can be a unique and a characteristic. So that our culture can be different from another nations. Our country, Indonesia, consists of 38 provinces, which is we live in diversity. So, our countries we can admire our countries because Indonesia has a culture of diversity. A cultural diversity in Indonesia, it can be ranged from a traditional dance art. A traditional dance art in the island of Sumatra, namely South Sumatra. It's called Tanggai dance and Gending Sriwijaya dance. But it differs from a Java island. In Java island, especially West Java, it's called Jaipong and Merak dance. Ladies and gentlemen, our culture, our Indonesian culture is indeed very diverse, very unique and very beautiful. But do we love our culture? Do we preserve them? Or do we practice them in our life? As the fact, Indonesian culture is fade little by little. According to Kumparan.com, report the February 2023, Indonesia has young generations have forgotten an abundance about the culture. So, in this time, as the young generation of Indonesia, we have to preserve our culture so that our culture is not made from the other countries. For example, the traditional art dance in Indonesia, mostly teenagers want to choose a modern dance from various countries
than a traditional dance in Indonesia. And moreover, the other example is a food. A teenager mostly chooses fast food in the various countries to choose as their daily food because that Indonesia traditional food. For this reason, we especially citizens of Indonesia have to care about this action. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are several factors of this. The first one is entry of foreign culture, such as a film, music, food, and lifestyle can influence our mindset and behavior of young people. The second one is lack of awareness from society. Is choose a bad or a good culture. And the last one is progress on science and technology. It can make them individualism and conflict. So for this reason, we especially a citizen of Indonesia and the younger generation of Indonesia have to know how to directly the culture, such as the pay attention and studying about the region culture, filter incoming foreign culture. The third one is love and use Indonesian product. The fourth one is introducing Indonesia to another culture. And we have to spread information and absent aspiration for a digital content in a social media such as Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and many more. In conclusion, I am Devina Triswania from Harapan Muda Islamic Senior High School, Palembang. Would like to invite all of the audience here and out there to awareness, to care about our culture. Because if we are not preserved for our culture, this culture will be missing in the futures. Like B.J. Habibie said, only the nation children can be related on the developed Indonesia. So thank you very much and good afternoon.
The next candidate I would like to call Kailanisa Artameli. The stage is yours.
Tes. Caring for traditions that has developed in Indonesia will strengthen our life together and will strengthen our country. So, culture must be maintained. These are the words of the fourth President of Republic Indonesia named Gus Dur. Also one of the best percent of tolerance that Indonesia has ever had. The honorable judges and all my friends, hello everyone. My name is Kailanisa Artameli from Islamic Senior High School of Harapan Mulia, Palembang. And in these special opportunities, I would like to deliver a speech about the impact and efforts to deal with globalization on Indonesian culture. First of all, Indonesian culture is a whole way of life that has developed and is shared by Indonesian people and passed down from generation to generation. Indonesian culture includes various aspects, such as traditional dances, religions, languages, arts, and many others. Indonesian culture is very rich. Well, how can I say this? Because Indonesian culture having a various aspects of ethnicities. And do you know, guys, they have their own characteristics. So, that's why I say Indonesian culture is very rich. Next, according to Selo Sumarjan, globalization is a process of sharing a culture from one country to another country. So, based on this fact, we can know that globalization, of course, can make the world feel so connected, and of course, it can make the world increase their friendship. But everyone, according from liputan6.com, the impact of globalization can be positive, but also can be negative. First, let's talk about the positive one. All right, the first one. Of course, it can increase awareness and appreciation for Indonesian culture. Do you know, guys? Now, there's a lot of Indonesian culture that getting attention and appreciation from all over the world. The examples are like rendang, batik, wayang, and many others. The second example, because from globalization, we can improve our creativity in developing Indonesian culture. Why can I say this? Because now, Indonesian artists can combine between traditional culture and international culture. As an example, is a movie or even a novel where the stories is about Indonesian people that lives in technological era. Or even a products that combine between international products but in traditional taste. And the third one is, based on CNN.com, it was said that from globalization, we can learn another culture from another country. And of course, guys, it can increase friendship between nations. But, like what I just said before, there are still a negative impact from globalization. Let's talk about it. The first one, it causing the loss of Indonesian culture. Do you know, guys, now there's a lot of Indonesian culture that's starting to be forgotten by Indonesian people. Because Indonesian people starting to feel the Indonesian culture is uninteresting. The examples are like traditional dances or even traditional ceremonies. The second one, it also causing the loss of Indonesian cultural value. Now, there's a lot of Indonesian cultural value that started to be replaced with foreign culture. The examples are even a good manners. These facts are so sad to be known. And the last example is spreading a materialistic culture. Guys, these facts are so sad to be known. Do you know, guys, now there's a lot of Indonesian people that's starting to be influenced with a lifestyle by global culture. And the Tik.com even once write the impact is like individualistic, materialistic, and hedonistic, which is very bad and can damage the moral of our nation. But guys, don't be sad, because there are still so many ways that we can do to avoid these negative things. The first one, we can filter every culture that enters Indonesia. We must be able to take a positive side and avoid the negative side. As an example, what we can do is watching an international movie, but with a moral inside. The second way that we can do is promoting our culture. This is easy, everyone. We need to be proud by what Indonesians have. For an example, we can wear batik in official events. Right? The third way that we can do, for example, is, guys, we can start to using and loving Indonesian products. We need to appreciate them. An easy way that we can do is we can eat the food that made from Indonesian great chefs. All right, everyone. I think that's all about speech I could deliver. Hopefully, it can be beneficial for all of us. And I really hope we can be a better future of Indonesia. That's all from me. I'm Kaila Nisartameli from Islamic Senior High School of Harapan Mulia, Palembang. Thank you and having a great day, everyone. Bye.
The next one, our last candidate will be Eva Viola Anthony.
Is it? I don't know. I can't hear myself. 1, 2. I think it is. Oh, okay. Ooh, it's bright. If you had to choose just one aspect to represent Indonesia's diversity and identity, what would it be? The variety of languages, the mouth-watering cuisine, the art, the literature, the architecture? Indonesia is overflowing with cultures that have been united together, a parallel to the nation's slogan of unity and diversity. In this current era, it is often argued that Indonesian culture is slowly deteriorating due to the emergence of globalization as well as the declining interest in Indonesian traditions and values. I do agree with that statement. However, today I will be advocating for the opposite perspective. Good afternoon, judges, my fellow competitors, and teachers. My name is Eva Viola Anthony, a third-year high school student from RSI, Indonesia. And for my speech, I'm going to be discussing the evolution of Indonesian culture and how we, as Indonesian citizens, can ensure that this culture stays alive. First, what is culture? Personally, I would define culture as a combination of features, namely norms, values, traditions, languages, and institutions, which, when you put together, becomes the identity of a group of people. In the case of Indonesia, this is not just a singular unit, but rather an amalgamation of thousands of different cultures put together, which is precisely what makes it so special. Indonesia has had an eventful history, filled with war and colonialization, which eventually led to its independence. These experiences and suffering are the building blocks towards Indonesia's colorful and illustrious cultures. In the past, Indonesia was often overlooked. This was due to the fact that it was a newly birthed country, still developing, and it was just recently freed from an autocratic leadership of a foreign power. It was struggling to rebuild itself and its economy. However, now that Indonesia is considered to be a highly developing power, people are starting to take an interest towards our culture. Just look at all of the social media platforms. You have TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. All of these sites have thousands of videos,
that showcase the beauty of Indonesia as well as our traditions and values. These videos garner millions of viewers, raising awareness towards the lesser known of Indonesian cultures. And furthermore, you can see the flood of comments under these videos, showing that people are really taking an interest towards our cultures. Then you have the arts. The traditional dances and songs of Indonesian cultures are currently still being taught, even though they have been passed down from generation to generation. And even more, individuals are adding their own flair to the mix. Teenagers, just like myself, are having fun blending Western styles of dances and songs with their own cultures, bridging a gap between Indonesia and the rest of the world. Furthermore, they're taking advantage of globalization and not falling victim to it, which shows just how creative Indonesian teenagers are in solving this problem of globalization. Next, we have the cuisine. Did you know that in 2017, Indonesia won first and second place on CNN's World's Best Foods, with rendang and nasi goreng respectively? Indonesia has long been famous for its flavorful and homemade meals that are bound to bring you back for more. And all of these meals are constantly being put out onto video sites with the rise of technology and video sharing platforms. All of these different meals and cultures are being put together, and furthermore, Indonesians are even putting their own twist to it. Nowadays, you can easily find people creating their own new recipes, using foreign cuisines and mixing them with Indonesia's own cuisine. Take nasi goreng, for example. The original ingredients of rice, fish, and vegetables, people are now adding cheese to it to recreate the iconic cheese pull found in Western cuisines. Lastly, you have the people, obviously. As stated beforehand, all of the features of Indonesia's culture has been growing, evolving, and transforming into a modernized version of its predecessor in an attempt to keep up with the rapidly changing world. However, the one thing that hasn't changed? The people. The people of Indonesia continue to be humble, family-oriented people who thrive in the unknown and welcome people with open hearts and minds. And these people are still sticking to the values that Indonesia was currently brought up with. They are not letting themselves be carried away by outside influences. So, after all of what I've said, how can we ensure that our culture will continue to stay alive? Well, firstly, we have to be active. We have to regularly apply all of our traditions and values into our daily lives. For instance, Palembang's traditional dance, also known as the Genting Sriwijaya, can be used in this context. One, we can perform it at special events to promote our own culture, and we can even perform songs along with it. Additionally, the prominent values of Indonesian culture should be put into our daily lives and into our behaviors. For example, the spirit of gotong royong, or working together. We should help people that are having a need. And lastly, we should make a conscious choice to consume national products and media whenever possible in an act of nationalism and to contribute to the country's economy. In conclusion, Indonesia is evolving at a tremendous rate, and so is its culture. And this is due to the power of technology and the voices of the people who want to spread their culture. It is clearly evident that globalization is playing a big factor in why Indonesian culture is becoming so popular. And with the correct procedures, such as the implementations of our traditions into our daily lives, I believe that we will be able to create a culture that will last for a very long time and bring this country forward. Thank you.
All right, everyone, we've come to the end of this English competition. And before we dismiss, I would like to say thank you to the judges. Thank you for your valuable time. And all the teachers and participants, thank you. And one thing I would like to inform each one of us, for the announcement. It will be held on Saturday, which is tomorrow, at 1:30 p.m. And before we dismiss, I just want to say thank you one more time for all the participants for your wonderful speeches. And as you leave this room, do not forget to grab one of the souvenirs at the back as our thank you to your participants. That's all from me. Thank you and have a great afternoon.